Another year is ending, and I think that although most of us faced challenges and difficulties, there was also joy, growth, and learning, as in every cycle. When I recap my year, I realize that sometimes in our daily lives we feel that we're not moving forward or that we are not able to do everything we set out to do. But when we look at the whole year from a broader perspective, we realize that we did achieve many significant things. So I invite you to recount the most significant moments of your year, celebrating and being thankful for your small achievements, the moments in which you learned, and those you enjoyed. For example, this year I managed to make several illustrations like this Christmas card and others for clients with interesting projects. Another of the things I accomplished was painting a new series of abstract paintings. I also finished several sketchbooks. I taught several workshops on painting, drawing the human figure, sculpture, yoga, and meditation. I built a tiny house that will be my retreat cabin. I enjoyed sunsets and worked hard. This year I also taught, together with a dear friend, an art and emotion management workshop for teenagers in a rural community, which was a very moving experience that involved several challenges, but that gave me more awareness of what this world needs and how we can contribute. Also, this year, I edited and published several videos and episodes for my podcast. I did more exercise at the gym, went running in nature several times a week, and went on many bike rides. I went out more to nature, something that I love and fills me with joy. And this year, also, I went hiking to the Puerta del Cielo, to the volcanoes, and to the summit of the Ajusco mountain. I guided meditations in mountains and other places, and online too. I also supported some family members, both financially and emotionally, and with time and service. I did several creative projects. For example, I created my own soy candles, something that I love because soy wax is not toxic, like paraffin. I also added essences of essential oils like lavender and orange, giving them a rich aroma. I made some trips to special places, and I witnessed a total solar eclipse, and during the eclipse, I visited a nature reserve. I was in a cabin and contacted with nature. I learned more about the state of Durango and the city, which is very beautiful, and I discovered that my grandparents were from there. I visited a movie set where famous Western movies were made. I traveled to Guatemala, a country I didn't know, with beautiful architecture and vegetation. We went to a fabulous restaurant and to a macadamia tree farm where we had breakfast and I did a painting. It was a beautiful place. We visited the picturesque city of Antigua and its volcano. I love this beautiful city, walking to its narrow streets and the spectacular views of nature. I ate delicious things in different places and went to a party with distant relatives, some of whom I hadn't seen for many years, and it was very nice to meet them again. Also this year, I attended the consecration of the ground of the next stupa of Tara. The stupa is an architectural monument of the Buddhist tradition that intensifies our practice, and there I connected with my Dharma friends. I received an empowerment with my Tibetan teacher that I met in Nepal, Chokinima Rinpoche, who is a great being with great realizations. This was a great opportunity, and I also connected with all Dharma friends there, which was amazing. This year, I connected a lot with my yoga students, with whom I now have a beautiful friendship. But as life is, not everything was joy and happiness. There were also problems and difficulties. Something very sad also happened that I know will continue to be a challenge next year, but I'm learning to live in acceptance while I do what I can to support and help, not always in the best way, but with the best intentions. Also this year, I had the opportunity to teach an incredible business workshop. I was invited to teach it to the employees of a car company for the launch of their luxury SUV in the Japanese garden. I put together a wonderful team of instructors who helped me, and it was very nice to teach people who work in sales and who had mostly never picked up a paintbrush how to create a beautiful watercolor illustration in a short time. To make them see their creative potential and see them surprised with their creation filled me with satisfaction. I visited many cafes where I made drawings in my sketchbook, and some bookstores too. I did a little retreat with a great friend at the Istak Ashram, a magical place where I met Master Siegfried, a great being, and other wonderful people. They invited us to join the Samadhi Mountain Spa, a Finnish sauna that has great health benefits. It reaches a very high temperature inside, and when you get out, you have to get into tubs of ice cold water and then rest and meditate under the sun on petate mats. When the body contrasted with the change in temperature, I felt my mind entered a great silence. I visited Regina's little house and adopted a beautiful dog. I also went with some beautiful friends to the Basilica of the Virgin of Guadalupe and to the Tepeyac Hill. From my point of view, the energy of the Virgin of Guadalupe is the same as that of Tara, the Buddha of compassion, that feminine energy of primordial consciousness. So connecting with that part of the sacred feminine, I felt a great opening and peace in my heart. We saw a spectacular sunset. I was also invited to attend a beautiful dinner and bonfire at one of the first places I did a solitary retreat. Many years ago, I spent a month there in a cabin doing a meditation and dream yoga retreat in this beautiful retreat center of some dear friends. Returning and seeing them again was a great gift this year. Soon, I will make another video of the retreat places where I've been and where I recommend in order to do a solitary retreat. Later, I went to Xochicalco, an incredible archaeological site. I made a video about this visit and a watercolor drawing that I made there. I also taught my students how to paint Christmas watercolor cards. I did 54 sun salutations with my friend and teacher Liz. She invited me to give a year-end workshop on Buddhist meditation techniques to her students in the yoga teacher's training. It was a very fulfilling experience. And we closed the workshop with the launch of a trip to India and Nepal for next year, where we will take you to see some of the incredible places where I have been, lived, studied, meditated, to sacred sites and temples, both Hindu and Buddhist, and to meet teachers from whom I have been fortunate to receive teachings. I recorded an episode on my podcast about what we are going to do during this journey of spiritual connection, introspection, and knowledge. Also for Christmas, I recorded a special episode for the podcast where I interviewed my dad about Jesus' message at Christmas time. Although I follow the Buddhist path, I feel that there are meeting points in the spiritual traditions, and that the ultimate purpose of all is to connect to our true nature, which is love and compassion. And this is one of the objectives of the Peace and Mind podcast, which focuses on well-being, creativity, psychology, and connection with our spiritual development. Tonight I did a little end-of-year ritual. I started by writing on a piece of paper the things that I wanted to release from this year that is ending, and that were painful or difficult challenges. And I lit a candle and burned that paper in the garden. But first, I wrote down the things I learned in those moments, the lessons that those situations and this year left me as well. I burned the sheet where I wrote what I wanted to release and be free of, and I buried the ashes that were left to release them into the earth. I invite you to make a summary of your year, to heal and open yourself to growth and to the learning of a new cycle with love, optimism, equanimity, and harmony. Happy New Year!